and welcome to Anava Yoga Studio. I'm Kat, for those of you who haven't tried one of our videos before, and it's lovely to have everyone on the mat again with me today. So today we are going to go for a gentle floor-based yoga flow. So it's a great one to do if perhaps you're not feeling, quite your usual self at the moment, maybe a little bit under the weather, or maybe just feeling very tired, and you've got to just give yourself, just be a little bit more careful about what you do with yourself today. Or maybe you're just someone who is, for whatever reason, struggling a bit with mobility at the moment, and that sort of like things like getting up and down and moving around on the mat a lot it just isn't an option right now, and something that's just a little bit more based around the floor, where you get down on the floor and that's it. You don't really have to worry about jumping up and standing up again until the end of the session is kind of what you need right now. So make sure you've got whatever you need, because we will be on our knees a little bit. So if you like to put something under your knees just to cushion the knees, just to have a little bit of pressure, I've got some handy little pads there. But otherwise, even just something like a rolled up or a folded towel or blanket, even a small blanket, can just give you a little bit of padding under the knees. We're going to be sitting a bit, so if you're not quite happy perhaps today sitting flat on the floor, make sure you've got something to sit on. So that could be a cushion or a large blanket or towel rolled up so that you can lift the hips up, or if you've got a yoga block, fab. And then if you like to use a strap to help with any of the forward folding, hamstring type stretch things, then make sure you've got your strap as well. So make sure you've got everything you need to hand, and then so while we're working today, we're going to be very gentle, very slow. And what I really want us to try and think about is not just being in the different stretches or poses. I want to think about how we move from one pose to another. So it's going to be very slow, very luxurious movement, but being very mindful, still being within, being very mindful, keeping within the practice as we move from one pose to another, so that we're not just rushing from one place to another. We're going to use the movement from side to side, or wherever it is that we're going, as part of the practice as well, so that we're keeping a full awareness on ourselves and on our practice as we work the whole way through. So when you're ready, we are going to start with some breathing, and we're going to start actually lying down today. So when you're ready, just bring yourselves down onto your mat. Find a comfortable position to lie in. So that might be, actually today you might want to start with your knees bent. Sometimes it's quite nice to let the knees roll in towards each other, or maybe you feel happy to start with the legs out, extended in front of you. We're going to bring the hands onto the belly. So that's that space just below the navel, the belly button. Maybe give yourself a little wriggle here, just to relax some tension in the neck and the shoulders. And then when you're ready, just start to tune into your space on the mat. Making sure that you are fully present here and now. Then we're going to start to then follow the breath. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose if we can. So if you are sort of a little bit blocked at the moment, maybe if you are doing this because you've got a bit of a cold or something like that today, then feel free to breathe however you can. So it might have to be through the mouth or using the nose and the mouth. I'm going to try and make that breath as deep as we can. So just seeing if we can feel the expansion in the body, through the chest, through the belly, as we breathe. Using our hands on this space in the belly here just to help us connect with the breathing. And of course, if we are feeling bunged up, we're a bit, maybe our chests are a little tight or something like that today, if we're not feeling great, then don't be upset if the breathing doesn't work as well today. Maybe if you're doing this in your own space, obviously you're not interrupting anyone else's breathing at the moment. It's just you, so it doesn't matter if you cough or if you have to blow your nose or anything like that. We're just spending this time here just to focus on the breath. And remembering it's about our intention of what we're doing here. And then if we can, we're just going to take a moment just to do a little bit of counting, moving into some even breathing. So we're going to inhale, count to 4, and exhale, count to 4. So when you're ready, we're going to inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4. So just taking 10 more breaths, counting in your own head as you inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 4 counts. Once you've had your 10 breaths, just let the counting go. Keeping that awareness of the strong, deep breath. We're going to try and just make sure we are breathing fully the whole way through our practice. And when you're ready, we're going to just start to bend the knees, walking the feet in towards each other, and bring the knees all the way up in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice hug here. Maybe take a little wriggle, a little rock with the hips here. So just settle your back onto the floor and maybe draw some circles with the knees, just little tiny little circles circling one way. So we feel a bit of movement around the tailbone, the sacroiliac joint that point to where the spine and the pelvis meet. And then draw those circles back the other way. Good. And just let the knees rest over the chest. Maybe squeeze them a little bit tighter. Up and towards you. Maybe noticing the connection of the body, that trunk area, the belly and the chest against the thighs as you inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, bearing in mind we're always thinking about how we're moving, mindfully moving from one place to another. We're going to start to let the toes, the feet just come back down towards the floor. Roll around onto your side. Pause. Inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly start to push yourself up to sitting. So if you want to open the eyes now, you can. If you're quite enjoying keeping them closed, by all means keep your eyes closed and just find a comfortable position to sit in. So remember, if you do want to grab your block or cushion, whatever it is you need underneath your hips, we're going to put support underneath the hips. So finding a comfortable position to sit in. So if you're happy with an easy seated pose, find your easy seated pose. If you need to take the legs out in front, find that diamond shape with the legs, or keep the legs straight, then make sure you're able to just focus on grounding down through your sit bones and finding that length up through to the crown of the head. And then we're going to start with some rolls with the shoulders. So inhale, circle the shoulders up. Exhale, circle them down the ribs. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, circle back. Go for one more circle all the way up and down. And then reaching the hands out so they maybe rest on the knees or just rest on the thighs. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone under. Just slowly roll over the sit bones. Make a C shape with the spine. Allow the head to drop to the chest. Big stretch through the back, the spine, the neck. And then inhale, lengthen all the way back up. Draw the shoulders back and into the middle of the spine, just giving the heart a little bit of support there from the shoulders. And we're going to inhale, reach the arms all the way up. As you exhale, twist to the right. Slow, gentle twist, working, noticing the movement all the way up through the body. Bring the fingertips towards the mat. Hold and breathe. And then as you inhale, come back into the middle, reach the fingers all the way back up to the top. Exhale, take it round to the left. Fingertips again, just resting on the mat. Hold, breathe. So we're going to take one more twist to either side. As you inhale and reach up, that you take that nice, mindful, slow, luxurious movement, feeling the whole body moving, and then exhale, twist to the side, noticing the movement through the body. Again, just holding, breathing. Maybe you find a little deeper twist this time. Trying to look over the shoulder. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, take it round to the left again. Again, looking for maybe a bigger twist, looking all the way over the shoulder. And then inhale, reach the arms back up. In the center, as you exhale, open the fingertips wide out to the side. Stretch all the way through to the ends of the fingers. Bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Gently press down through the fingertips. Feel yourself ground down through the sit bones, very tip of the tailbone, and lengthen all the way up to the crown of the head. Pause, close your eyes here. Just noticing that upper body here. Feeling the connection with your mat under the fingers, under the sit bones, the tailbone. Feeling the breath in the body as we sit. Good. Open your eyes when you're ready and inhale. Reach the left arm up, And then as you exhale, take a big lean over to the right. Just leaning then into the whole of that right hand. Good. And then as you exhale, we're just going to slowly round. Make that C shape through the spine again. Just bring the left arm round down in front. Start to circle the right arm then as you come over to the left side. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Reach the right arm up. And then as you exhale, lean over, take it over to the left. So again, we're just pressing into that left hand. Reaching, grounding down all the way through to that right hip. Big stretch through the right side then now. Good. We're going to exhale, make that little C shape through the spine, bringing the right arm round in front. Start to bring the left hand round so we circle all the way back over to that right side. Inhale, reach the left arm up. And then bring it back round, down towards the mat. Just gently press down through both fingertips. Lengthen up through the spine. And then release the legs out in front if you've been cross-legged. We're just going to give the legs a little shake out. And then all coming into easy seated pose if we can. Crossing the left foot in with the right leg in front. Now, if easy seated pose, this cross leg position really isn't accessible for you today, then just take that nice wide diamond shape instead, and we're going to stay in that position. So sitting nice and tall, reach the fingertips back out down towards the mat. As you exhale, we're going to take a twist towards the left. Inhale, sit tall, and then as you exhale, bow the chin to the chest, roll down through the spine, so we start to bring the head towards the knee, and we're going to walk the hands out in front. So don't rush the movement, keep it slow, keep it luxurious, enjoy moving down through the spine. And we want to stay grounded then through that right hip. So just gently press back through that right sit bone. Seeing if you can find a stretch down through the right side body, maybe coming all the way into the right hip. So we're working on the back of that right side. Maybe drop the head a little closer towards the knee. Big deep breaths in. Good. As you inhale, walk yourself back up to sitting, just bringing the fingertips back through to the mat. Inhale, and then as you exhale, gentle twist back into the center. Reach down, press through the fingertips again onto the floor as you reach the legs back out in front. Just give them that little shake out. Feel that shake through the whole of the legs all the way through to maybe to the toes. And then we're going to come back to that easy seated pose or that diamond shape. This time, if we're coming into easy seated pose, we're going to bring the right foot in and the left foot in front. Make sure that you're just grounding down again through and lengthening up to the crown of the head. As you inhale, sit tall, exhale, gently twist round towards the right. Breathe in again here. And then as you exhale, take the chin down, bowing down and inwards, rounding forward as you bring the head towards the right knee. Again, walk those hands out in front. Find that point when you need it for support. So this time we're working on that stretch through the back of the left side body, coming all the way down towards that left hip. So if it may be that there, it's just a nice sort of gentle stretch, maybe you've got a bit of tension somewhere on that left side. It might feel very different to how it felt when we were coming around to the right. Just focus still on the breathing. Remember that breath there is always there to help relax the body. And then we're going to inhale to sit ourselves up. Exhaling, coming back into the middle, just planting or grounding down with the fingertips again. Lengthen through the legs as you feel yourself. Maybe give that little shake out all the way through, noticing the movement all the way through to the feet. And now we're just bringing the legs round, moving ourselves around onto our hands and knees. So we want the knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. And we're going to take our cat-cow. So when you are ready, exhale, round up through the spine, tuck the chin in. Inhale, turn the tailbone up, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, back to cat. Inhale to cow. So making that lovely, luxurious, mindful movement The breath connects to the body and the movement and the body connects to the breath. So really being aware of where we're moving, how we're moving through the body. Not just moving into our sort of automated habitual cat-cow. We're going to go for one more cow. And then settle yourself back into your neutral spine position. Tuck the right toes under, and as you exhale, slide the right leg back behind you. Just start to take a little stretch out through the back of the leg, all the way through to the heel. And then we can stay here, just to keep taking that nice little stretch, maybe introduce a little rock through the hands and the toes if that feels good. Otherwise, exhale, squeeze the belly in. See if you can take your leg up off the floor. So it all just depends on how far, how much you want to push yourself today, how you're feeling. So that glute muscle then, the muscles in your bum are working to help you lift the leg up. If you'd like to work a little bit harder again, you can test the balance and reach the left arm out in front. Good, take the hand down. Take the knee, bring the knee back in underneath the hip and try that on the other side. So we're just going to tuck the left toes under, slide them back, take that little push through the heels. We're going to push through the hands back into the foot. And then again, we've got the option just to stay here, or if we'd like to just, fire up the core a little bit again, start to use the hip, lifting from the hip, take that left leg up, use the muscles in your bum, your glute muscles. And then we've got the option of just reaching the right fingertips out. So it doesn't matter if you just, even if normally you've got a strong, hard physical practice, if today you just feel like taking the stretch through the leg, stick to just taking the stretch. So the hand comes down, the knee comes down, and then we're going to lower ourselves all the way down towards the mat, just coming then into our Sphinx pose. So we're going to settle with the elbows underneath the shoulders, spread the fingertips out, just pressing through into the mat, and then as you inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades back into the middle of the spine, give your heart a little bit of support as it shines out. And then just let the body feel nice and heavy here on the floor as we ground down through the legs, engaging through the thighs and the hips and the glutes, through the feet, pressing the feet into the floor. So this can feel a really nice way just to open out and support the heart, let it shine out, open out through the chest. If we are feeling maybe, a little bit grotty, a little bit ill, a little bit tired, we tend to want to kind of hug ourselves inwards and we round through the shoulders. It's just a nice little reminder about opening out. Take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, slowly release, mindfully pushing yourself up so that you can then exhale, come back to child's pose. So hips to knees, round forwards. So we're going to make child's pose on own. That might mean the knees are quite close. Maybe you want to take them a little bit wider. If the back's feeling a little bit tight, you could make a little pillow with the hands, stacking the hands up to lean on. Or if you have got that block or a little cushion or something like that, it's also quite a nice option just to let the head here rest on the forehead, or the forehead rest on the cushion or the block or your rolled up blanket or whatever you've got. And then the arms are going wherever feels comfortable. Maybe round by the feet. This is, of course, if you're not using them to support the head. round by the feet or out in front. And sometimes feel a little less stuffy, a little less claustrophobic as well if you're perhaps a little bit bunged up here, just to have the head lifted a little way up off the floor. And then breathe down into the spine, all the way through to the tailbone. Just watching, using that third eye point, that internal camera, that space just above the nose and between the eyebrows there, just to follow the breath as it flows all the way down to the spine, the hips. Just helping the back relax. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Push ourselves up to sitting. And we want to send the feet to the right, hips to the left. So we can come into our kingfish twist. So if we can, then we're going to keep this left knee bent, cross the right leg or the right foot over towards the knee. And if it's really uncomfortable on this bottom leg, release it out in front. And again, this is another one where you might want to use your block just to sit on, to lift the hips up a little, make the sitting a little bit more comfortable. So once you're happy in your seated position, sit nice and tall. Inhale, lengthen through the spine and up, rotate the left arm up. And then as you exhale, we're going to twist towards the right. Wrap the left arm around the right leg. Keep twisting back until you take the right fingers back behind you. Ground down through the right foot, push all the way through into the big toe. Left leg is also just kind of sinking into the floor. You've got your sit bones grounding. And then our spine is just spiraling upwards. Think of it being like a spiral escalator rolling up. Good. So as you exhale again, come back into the center. And we want to come into a low lunge position with the right leg in front. So maybe from here you can just push yourself forward. So as you inhale, start to bring yourself up. If you need to, perhaps swing the legs around, move from a tabletop position. Just do whatever you need to, but remember it's just moving mindfully into this lunge position, testing how far you want to go. Exhale, drop the hips towards the floor. And then if it feels okay, inhale, take it up, taking the shoulders up, dropping them back down the spine. Bring the hands onto the lower back and then squeeze those shoulder blades back into the middle of the spine again. Dropping them down as if you've got, dropping them into pockets on the back of your pants or your clothes, your shorts, whatever you're wearing. And then just let the heart, the chest shine out again. Just look to see where you want to breathe to. Breathe into those spots that are perhaps a little bit tight, so maybe there's some tension in the back or the hips. And then we're going to release. Take the hands down. Bring the right foot back then into your tabletop position as you inhale. And then we have yogi's choice. So either come back to a child's pose, or if you would just like to find a down dog today, we're going to tuck the toes under. Exhale, lift the hips up. So we're either exhaling, sinking back to child's pose, Or exhaling, lifting up to downward facing dog. If you need then that little pedal out in your downward facing dog, or a little bit of movement through the hips, make sure you take it. Maybe you want to move a little bit in your child's pose. And when you're ready then, we're releasing the heels down towards the floor and breathing. If down dog gets too much tall, by all means just drop the knees and spend the last few breaths here in your child's pose instead. And then if from whichever position you're in, we want to come back to our tabletop position. So we're going to drop the knees towards the mat, send the feet towards the left side so we can come back with the hips on the right. So we can find our twist the other side. Bring the left leg over the right. So again, adjust, make the pose suitable. Take the right leg straight out if you need it. Block under the hips. That's going to help you sit nice and tall. And then lengthen up through the spine, grounding down through the feet and the leg. We're going to reach up with the right arm, and then as you exhale, twist. Hug the right arm around the left knee. Keep twisting so you bring the left fingertips onto the mat behind you. So again, the left foot, big toe is pushing into the floor. We're keeping that right leg nice and heavy so that rests into the mat as well. Grounding through the sit bones. And then think of that lovely image of the spine just constantly spiraling upwards. Good. As you inhale, release. Come back into the center. And we want to find our way into our lunge with the left foot in front. So just doing whatever you need to as you inhale, start to bring yourself forwards. As you exhale, letting the hips sink down towards the mat. Inhale, the chest's going to lift. Take the shoulders up. Exhale, relax them down the ribs as the hands come onto the lower back for support here. And then the shoulder blades are squeezing back, down, dropping back into those little pockets just behind the bum here. Just breathing. Gaze is out in front of you, finding your drishti, finding that point in front of you where you can just focus the eyes. Good. Inhale, release the hands down, and then as you exhale, we're just going to come back to a seated position on the mat. So again, just moving mindfully, finding your way back down towards the floor, taking your time, there is no rush. So we're going to sit for a little bit. So again, make sure you put the block underneath your hips if you don't feel comfortable here today. We're going to be coming into some folds. So again, that block under the hips can sometimes make a big difference to us being able to move from the hips, keeping the spine as long as we can and avoiding that kind of rounding of the back. The other thing, of course, you might want now is your strap, just to help bring you forwards around the feet. So if you want to use your strap or your towel or scarf, whatever it is that you've got to hand, we're going to use that. So the right leg is then just going to exhale, come up towards you, let it drop out to the side. So the foot can be on the shin. We could have it out to the side if that feels more comfortable for the hip, or maybe it's going to come right up and just rest on the thigh. Flex the left foot, strap, towel, scarf, whatever is there ready around the foot if you want it. Lengthen up through the spine. Inhale, take the hands up. And then as you exhale, we're going to fold mindfully, slowly, coming down, no rush, over that left thigh. So use the strap if you need to. So sometimes if you're finding it just that little bit uncomfortable, maybe there's a little bit of tension in the back here, or maybe it's tightness in the leg, using the strap here to bring you forwards, finding that angle at the hips rather than just allowing the spine to collapse. I'm not actually working on the fold. Good. Let go of the strap if you need it. Sit yourself all the way up. Releasing the left leg, the right leg then out in front. So it's in line with the hip, and we're going to take it the other way. So we're bringing the left foot up then now, planting it where feels the most comfortable, looking after the joints in the hip and the knee. If you are using your prop here, we're going to place it around the right foot. So we're sitting grounded through the sit bones, inhaling, taking the arms up, and then as you exhale, folding forwards, using that strap if you need to, just to help bring the chest, the nose towards the toes, towards the knee. And actually, when we're in our home practice, by yourself, no one else watching you in the studio, it's a great time to really actually kind of use the strap, work on pulling yourself towards the chest forwards. Sometimes when we're in the studio, even though we do our best to think that, kind of work on our own, we know that no one's meant to be watching or judging. There's that little bit of you that sometimes just wants to overreach, over push. So just taking this as far as you feel you can today. Maybe it's just not, maybe we haven't got we're not at our fullest expression of this pose, but it really doesn't matter. It always comes, like I always say, it always comes to the intention. It's the being here, it's the intention of what we're doing that's important, not what we look like. Good, so we're going to inhale, sit up. Slide the right foot back up towards the left. Come to Badrasana, cobbler's pose. So nice narrow diamond here if we can. Opening the soles of the feet out as you exhale, so we can just allow the knees to melt away from each other. And remember, we want to think about the idea of them reaching out and away from us, not push them down. Lengthen out. We want to lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Send the knees away from the hips. Sit nice and tall here. If you're feeling really good and you'd like to take a fold here, by all means do, but otherwise we're just going to stay grounding down through the sit bones and the tailbone, finding that length up through the spine and opening through the knees, through the hips. Good. Release the feet, bring the knees together, send the feet out long again, flexing the feet, using your strap again if you need to as we come into our full forward fold now over both legs. So sit nice and tall, inhale, reach the arms up. As you exhale, fold, press the chest, press the nose forwards towards the toes again. Use your strap as much as you need to help you find the support, the help you need to come forwards. breathe. Breathe into those areas of the body that want that little bit of extra help today. The tension in the hips or the back if it's there. Good. Inhale. Just gently, mindfully sitting ourselves all the way up. We're going to stay here. If you need to bend the knees, we're going to just sit while we just take a little stretch through the arms and the shoulders. So if you need to move the legs, do. Otherwise, just keep them out and long in staff pose. We're going to lengthen all the way up. Reach the right arm out. As you inhale in front, bring it across the body. Exhale. Use the left hand then just to give it that little bit of support. Squeeze it in towards you. Remember, don't press on the elbow. Sit nice and long through the spine. Reach all the way out through the fingertips and drop the shoulders. Good, so we're going to then support that right arm, reach it up towards the ceiling, drop it back behind you, and then see if you can take the left fingers round and bring them together at the top. So again, it's a nice one. If you have got that little towel or strap or scarf here, with that right hand behind, you can bring it up. Hold on to the scarf. Hopefully you can just see there in the corner. And then the other hand can come round and hold on there so that you can maybe get into the stretch that way today. So this is our Gomakasana, our cow face arms. Good, let those fingertips go. Gently let the arms go. Inhaling, reaching the left arm out and start to bring it across. Exhale, using the right arm then to just press through the forearm. Squeeze the arm into the body so we work around the left, back of the left shoulder and arm then now. Good, gently let that left hand and arm go, reach it up. Inhaling, and then as you exhale, bend, drop the fingertips back behind, reach around with the right arm. Again, find the towel, the band, the strap, whatever you've got there if you need it. Try and bring the hands together or just hold on to the scarf, the strap with your hands. Good, gently release. Bring the hands down. And we're gonna maybe just shuffle towards the top of the end of the mat if you need to, so that then as you exhale, we're gonna just slowly roll down or lower yourself down towards the floor. Once you get there, inhale, take the arms back. Take a big stretch out from fingers to toes. Maybe have a little wriggle there if that feels good. And then exhale, bring the hands down by your side. Walking the feet up in towards your hips. Press down through the soles of the feet. On your next exhale, we're turning the tailbone up. Just slowly, mindfully roll up through the spine, coming all as far as you can so that you rest. Ideally, you want to try and rest on the shoulders and then tuck your chin in towards your chest. So you get a little stretch through the back of the neck. Squeeze your glute muscles in, try and lift those hips a little higher. Nice big stretch through the front. And as you exhale, slowly, mindfully, again, one vertebrae at a time, come all the way back down towards the floor. Breath in there. And then as you exhale, bring the knees back up in towards your chest. Find a little hug for yourself here. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself some love. And we're going to finish as we started, just hugging, releasing the back. Maybe finding a little rock or some little circles in each direction with the knees. So circling one way, and then if you are circling, circle back the other way. Good. Let's come back to letting the knees rest. So squeeze those knees down. Just use a little bit of strength in the arms to give yourself a nice tight hug. Take a little tuck of the chin just to lengthen through the neck. Check in with the shoulders. Maybe you just need to let them go, shake them out. Take a last couple of breaths in here. And then when you're ready, inhale, take the feet down towards the floor. So we're going to come to Shavasana. So you can stay here if you'd like with the knees bent again. Maybe it's nice to just bring the knees together. Otherwise, walk the feet, just slide them away from you. Come to that full lying position. And the hands are just flopping out to the side. Close your eyes so that you can focus fully on the breathing. I'm just relaxing here. And then think about just scanning through the body. So find that third eye, that point just at the top of the nose and between the eyebrows again. And use that internal camera there to scan through the body. So we're coming all the way down to the toes. Working up then through the toes. Taking our time to notice how the legs and the hips feel, the body, the arms, the shoulders, the neck, the head. And if you're aware that perhaps there's a space in the body that does just need a little bit of extra love, breathe, send the breath into that area. And then when you're ready, we're going to let the muscles relax. Let the bones and joints relax. Feel the body resting heavy on the floor. Let all the organs in the belly go, let them drop, sink back towards the mat, the floor. Let the space around the chest relax, letting the heart release. And let the brain relax, letting it just sink into the base of the skull. ears relax, nose, cheeks relax, jaw relax, tongue relax, it sinks back heavy. In the throat, in the mouth. Just taking those final last moments here on the mat for yourself. As the body relaxes, the mind relaxes and absorbs all the work from your body, from your practice. Gently start to move your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. And when you're ready, inhale, take the arms back past your head. Give yourself a full stretch out from fingers to toes. And then have a big breath in. And as you exhale, maybe just taking a little sigh through the mouth, hug your knees up in towards your chest. Have a little rock there from side to side. And when you're ready, come all the way round onto your side. Keep your eyes closed if you can as you push yourself back up to a comfortable sitting position. Sit tall, relax your shoulders. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up, bring the palms together at the top, and as you exhale, bring your hands down through to center, just bowing your head to your fingers. As you acknowledge your practice, seal it in with namaste. Good. Thank you for joining me on that today. I hope that ticked the boxes for what you were looking for. Remember to leave a comment or a question below if you have any. And if you did like the video, then press the thumbs up. And if you'd like to join me on the mat again for another video, then please do subscribe to the channel so that you know when our next videos come out. All right, take care now, everyone. Bye.